is going for meeting for the Nashik, and Dr. Nathe, Joint Director, is also busy in meetings. So therefore I am representing Government Engineering College and RO Nashik. With this, again I am very much thankful for calling here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, I take this opportunity to introduce you the unique personality in the field of chemical engineering and having multidisciplinary approach with a broad vision to reform the current technical education system in the state. None than Honorable Vice Chancellor of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Technological University, Lonere, Dr.V.G.Gaikar, sir. Earlier, he was associated with the Institute of Chemical Technology, ICT Mumbai, formerly known as UDCT Mumbai. He has secured the 5th rank in the University of Mumbai in Bachelor's of Chemical Engineering in 1982 and secured 2nd rank in the University of Mumbai in Masters of Chemical Engineering in 1984. Being doctorate in Chemical Engineering from the University of Mumbai and achieving the Best Thesis Award in 1986, he is having 8 granted patents and 14 patents in pipeline to his account. His research work includes 164 research papers in referred international journals, as well as he has 230 conference presentations and invited lectures to his credit. Having the recipient of the Young Scientist Medal of the Indian National Science Academy for the year 1992, he was the Young Associate of the Indian Academy of Sciences during 1992 to 1995. He is the laureate of the UGC Career Award in 1994. He has also secured the Best Teacher Award of University of Mumbai in 2002. In 2004, the Indian Institute of Chemical Engineering conferred upon him the prestigious Hon'ble Award of Excellence in Basic Research in Chemical Engineering. He is the Fellow of the Indian National Academy of Engineers since 2008, as well as the Fellow of Maharashtra Academy of Sciences since 2004. Indian Institute of Chemical Engineering and Department of Science and Technology, Government of India honored him with Dr. S.K. Sharma Medal and ChemCon Distinguished Speaker Award in 2013. He has 2 books to his credit. As well, being from the field of chemical engineering, he is the consultant for nearly 20 major industries in the country. He has completed numerous research projects with various grants from various funding agencies. As well, he is the reviewer of nearly 40 reputed national and international journals. So, I would like to call upon Honorable Dr. V.G.Gaikar, sir, to enlighten the intellectual galaxy by his wise words. Dr. V.G.Gaikar, sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor.
The dignitaries on the dais, the invitees, and the faculty members. As my previous speakers have already covered most of the preliminary introduction why we are here, right from this is the first center or the sub-center of the university that we are starting, and I must congratulate the Godavari Foundations, the Godavari College of Engineering, to get selected, and they made the facilities up to date as it is required. It's the very first day, and I congratulate him as well as the Dr. Ullas Patil, Dr. R.S. Pure and his team to ensure that the work is done in time. In fact, they were racing against the time because we had another center who was also vying for the same slot. But they have now won the race, and first is the first. Nothing like a second. First is the first. As Dr. Bombre was mentioned to you, remember that this university now made the state technical university by the government of Maharashtra by its act in 2014. But it became effective only on the 2nd March of 2016 when I took over as the first Vice Chancellor. And I still remember the day when I was called by the minister. I had absolutely no idea 24 hours before that when I was in Jorat on that day. that I would be taking over the first state technical university. And at least for 10 days after that, after I said yes to him, to his request to take over the charge, I was completely bogged out. Because I was getting now the feel of what kind of, I would say, trouble I was getting into. What I was going to do as a Vice Chancellor. And the enormity of the challenge was coming up every day on my shoulders, saying that, what am I going to do? But once you take the plunge in, we said, fine, let's do it. And that exactly was the situation when we started discussing within the university, are we ready for starting the affiliation? Because the question was whether you have enough faculty, whether you have enough staff, whether you have enough facilities. Can we really do it? We had no infrastructure for affiliation was present almost an year ago, and nothing was even set in terms of statutes and ordinances and rules and regulations, how the affiliation can be done, what the methodology will be followed, what are the processes. We had absolutely no idea. But then internally we decided, saying that if we do it, we will do it in the first year. Let's not wait for the second year. And my faculty members said, yes, we want to take up the challenge. Let's do it. Let's not go back. So we had, within 15 days, the decision was taken the first week of August. And remember that within 15 days, we had the manual ready, available on the website, and we came up with the first week of September, our advertisement. We had given the time still on 31st of October, and somewhere in the middle of October, I think majority of the people woken up saying that there is a technical university and what we should do. And there was a great gathering in Pune, and I was called specifically saying that, please answer our questions. And the first question was always, why should we join BATU? And I said, look, option is yours. You decide whether you want to join or not. And I'm very happy that 63 colleges, and many of them in the regions like Jalgaon, they decided to join BATU, saying that we want to party to BATU. So this probably why then now say today we are all partners in the same crime. Now there is nothing like going back. So we now want to build ourselves what we have got into. And I want this university to be, I should not say I want. I said, let us say we ourselves should say that we need this university to be different from the conventional universities. We are professionals. And this university therefore be run like professional university. And what should be our objective? Are we going to do the same thing what other universities are doing, saying that take the people in, teach them something, take their examination, end of the 4 years, stamp them, you are engineer. Is that what you're going to do? Now when we go beyond the classroom teaching, unfortunately that has become the trend. Classroom teaching means you have to teach. You put the students there for 4 hours in the morning session, then we'll put them through the laboratory sessions in the afternoon. Another day, everybody is exhausted. Teachers are exhausted because they said, I have covered the syllabus. Students feel at the end of this, so kitna padhai karna padta hai? And what they do is nothing but the rata. They keep on remembering what has been taught in the class, because teacher says, look, you have to answer me exactly what I told you in the class. You can't talk anything different. So there is nothing like an out-of-box thinking. And actually, this is the education system which is producing today engineers also on the paper. We are very happy in numbers. We are talking about 1.5 lakh engineers coming out in all disciplines put together every year. Out of this, if you look at the industry says that if you take the NASCOM studies, they say only 4.7% of these guys know how to do the coding. If you take even the conventional engineering disciplines like mechanical, civil, they say only 20 to 25% engineers can be absorbed today in the industry. Does it mean that there are no jobs? It's not true. In fact, last week when we were sitting with the Skill Development Council of India, and this is being done under the National Skill Development Corporation, and the lady who is heading this IT and IT-enabled services sector, she categorically told me, unless you change the mindset of the students and the faculty, 4 years down the line, we will have a lot of jobs, but we will not have engineers for the jobs. My discussions throughout not just for the last 1 year, but ever since I started working with the RUSA and before that for the TechEp, I was working for the networking program, which was in fact my own brainchild then. I had started putting up the institutions to work together. Otherwise, everybody says, I am so and so, I want to work only for my own institution. I built a model as a challenge to MHRD. There is a reason I must tell you this. Because the HRD feels that nothing happens today in the state universities. No development take place, no research take place. Everything happens only in IITs and NITs. There is no other institution who can do the job. I had given the challenge then one of the undersecretaries who had asked me initially a proposal for setting up the R&D center, Research and Technology Transfer Center for the Western India. And we had gone to the level where I received the emails asking for who is going to be the CEO, who is going to be the finance officer, who is going to be the marketing officer, what kind of structure you are going to put in, what the governance model you are having. And suddenly they said, no, we can't give the money to you because we are a state university. So we as a state university do not have the same capacity and the competence as the IITs and NITs? I said I deferred. I said give me an opportunity and I will show you how even the state universities can function. They agreed to give me initially 5 crore, eventually release only 1.5 crore, but 1.5 crore I utilized to support 14 projects for a period of 6 months to just develop one product. Out of those 14, 2 projects I killed because I found the PIs of those projects were not doing anything. And I probably the first time in the history of some of the universities, I would say the funding given to you must return if you do not function. So there is an accountability. What we need basically is there an accountability, because that accountability is not there in the state universities. So we wanted to bring that accountability, but I'm fortunate today, those remaining 12 projects gave me 18 patents. 18 patents. 5 of the products we are transferring right now to the industry. And for the remaining ones, we are still looking now the partners. And everybody gets the benefit of the process. But most importantly, the 14 projects train 150 students. And 150 students were developed so well that when they went for the first round of admission to abroad or for the first round of their interviews in the industry started asking me a question, because when these people, they were not from ICT then, but when they appeared for the interviews, the industries wanted to know who did this. And they started calling me back saying that, how did you do that? What made you to work on this? Every one of those 150 students got in the very first lot either the job in the industry or an MS offer. What is required there was challenging the students with a different opportunity. And that is something which I would like to put today as a DNA of this university. Challenge the students. The question then is, who will challenge them? The people who come in contact with them every day. They are not Vice Chancellor, they are not registrars, they are not even principals. Teachers themselves. We did under the RUSA a similar program. Similar. I had put up the proposal to the HRD under the RUSA for research and innovation and for technology transfer. It was the only proposal throughout the country and only proposal from the state of Maharashtra which got the 20 crores of grant. Every state university was provided 1.5 crore. And we also supported 17 projects, not each one costing more than something like 15 lakhs or 25 lakhs. I got 2 major success stories of that exercise which I have done in the last 1.5 years. One from the University of Pune. We gave the money there for building the micro ATMs. He's a head of the department who is an absolutely wonderful guy and excellent. You can really want to know what the excellence means in technology. Please go and make the visit of Dr. Ambedkar in the University of Pune. Understand what the excellence means, what the center of excellence means. Here is an example. And here is a guy who developed micro ATMs. And today he has offers from several financial institutions, including the SBI. And the order, when it comes, they already have orders for hundreds and so on. But the order when it comes from the SBI will not be less than 100,000 units. Imagine only 15-16 lakhs of investment. One department went out, developed the product, brought it to the level where it can be of the international quality. I have another example from ICT Mumbai. We provided a funding of only 25 lakhs to this project. And this project idea was develop a catalyst for polymer so that when the polymer goes into the environment, it is degraded. Remember, we all talk about degradability of the polymer, including polyethylene. Here we just have an additive added to the polymer in the formulation so that when it goes to the environment, within 6 months, it degrades completely. Part of the funding for this had come from BRC. And the BRC said, we have a right on this. And we will give to anybody at 25,000 rupees. When we started discussions with them, I said, look, this has a great potential. And if you just don't want to give this money to this technology just to anybody, because no industry will put in the money if you are generating more competitors for them. The product eventually went for international bidding. And the down payment is 10 crore. The rest of the royalty will come as the production will go up. What we require are the ideas of this type in engineering. How do I do that? Where do I get ideas? When we floated this question just last week, we had invited many of the faculty members for an introductory presentation by the Skill Development Council, and we also had invited the representatives from the Autodesk under the University Connect program. And the question was asked back by the faculty was, how do I generate idea? Where do I get ideas? Can the industry give me ideas? Industry is not going to give ideas to you. Rather they will say, if you have an idea, you can come back to us, we will fund it. So what we need to do now is change our mindset, as Dr. Kokate was saying. What we really is a change in the mindset right from the top management to the students. The reason I am suggesting top management because they are the one who can become the driving force for the change. If they understand the value that can be brought in the institution, when the institution is built with a different mindset. If we continue to do the same thing as the conventional universities do, conduct the examination, give the degrees, produce so many engineers, that only becomes a quantity. It is not going to change the quality. So what is really required for technical education? When we say I want to build a new university, I want to have a different quality of technical education, with different types of engineers to come out, what is really required? We require engineers who are trained to be engineers right from the day one. And what is engineer? What does an engineer do? The first thing what an engineer does is imagine. Imagine the things which are not there. If you are a civil engineer and you want to build a bridge, will you be always looking for a bridge somewhere it is present, then I will copy it? then you will not have the same different kinds of bridges, wonders of architecture. Why do we go to Bombay and see that Worli Bandra sea link? This is where we require the beginning of the students. Remember, our students come through the school education system, which has become very, very rigid, except maybe some CBSE schools. But usually the state board schools are very rigid in approach. Now, not only that, look at there was a controversy recently. A CBSE student had to fight for 1 mark. And the court has to agree that actually she has given an answer which is different from what the model answer was. But in the essence, her answer was more correct. Because actually she has shown that she is able to think. And she was actually penalized for writing better answer in a different manner because it was not the same as the model answer. That is what I call the rigidity of the system. That works fine up to 10 standard, up to 12 standard, because everything is so rigid. The subjects are so few and the information which is given is very limited. But can I look at a JEE examination and you will find that one question can have multiple answers. And that's what engineering is. Engineering says that a same problem can be solved by different solutions. Do we ask our students to think like that? Or do we insist on them saying that this question, this answer? That change has to take place at the faculty level. The change has to take from faculty level because faculty also need to think differently. What we do today is, we catch hold of whoever is available. Whoever is available, come and teach. Are we not doing that? Doesn't matter. Okay, we said, okay, fine, you have at least somebody who can teach. I agree with. But has he heard a word pedagogy in a time? Or andragogy? Because pedagogy is actually meant for the school education. Andragogy is for an educated adult. So if you look the perspective plan that we have prepared, we are using the word andragogy, not just pedagogy. We are saying andragogy. It's both. So are we making our teachers educated to think that they are in a different era? And the era today is the information. Today information is available to everyone. Whether teacher is go to the class or doesn't go to the class, student have an access to the information. What is the job of teacher then? The job of the teacher is to show how that information can be used. So do we have any case studies based approach? Or do we simply have the lecturers, we go to the class, show the PowerPoint presentation, many of them even read the presentations. When you come back after a couple of hours, you say, I covered this much syllabus in those 2 hours. We don't want teachers to cover the syllabus. We want teachers to tell the students how that information can be made use of to solve problems. Now whose problem? You might ask, whose problem? Every time when you complain, including you, is a project. Any time when you complain, remember, any time you complain is a project. You say that I want to go to the top of this second floor of this center here. Do I have a lift? I don't have a lift. If I don't see the lift, is there any other way that I can transport the people and the material upstairs? Do I have the flat surface on this? Now, I don't know whether you have a continuous supply of the electricity here. When DBATU, we still have continuous breakdown of the supply of the electricity. Because we are still in the rural area. And we do have many issues that we also come from the rural area, remember that. We face the same problem as you do. We do not have like the 5-star. In fact, your classrooms are far better than our classrooms. Your buildings are far better than our buildings. But we will change. Fortunately, this year government has been generous enough to give enough grant for the repairs and maintenance. And we will change the entire face of the university. But I'm not interested in looking at those cosmetic changes. I need to make the better change in the minds of the teachers, saying that, are we today building engineers for tomorrow? And not only that, you become a part of that change as well. Teachers should become a part of the change which is taking place in the students' level. How do you do that? You actually start working with the students right from the day one when they enter. You make them aware what their responsibilities are, what are they going to do as engineers. If you want problems, if you want projects, we have just started 2 activities in the university. One was we have signed an MOU with the Department of Tribal Development in the Mantralaya. They say that I don't have technology with me to implement all my projects. They have education. They require education to be promoted in the rural areas, in the tribal areas. They say I don't have technology means to take science and mathematics to these students. Can you give me technological solutions? I don't have teachers. Now I can't keep sending the teachers from engineering colleges or students just doing the national social service. But can they develop apps? Can they develop small games based on technology so that they can be given to these students? Can we build a science bus? It's a great concept which I think is possible to be implemented in Maharashtra. We can't build the labs in every school, because if you build the labs, then you have to give the maintenance, you have to ensure that nothing is stolen, pilfered, everything has to be done. Can we build a science lab? When we're traveling all across, I prefer to travel by car, because this gives you a lot of ideas about the economy in the region. And all along the entire length, what was observing was the schools. And they're very easy to see. And what you find are majority of the students are in a groups, hanging somewhere, doing something. Because they are not kept engaged. How do I make my students, engineering students, get engaged? So we are saying that right from the day one, can you involve them into an activity where they will get involved? It can be as simple as make one laboratory open to them. Give them the equipments. You might even get some vehicle which has got stuck or got caught in the accident and it is scrapped. Get that scrap into that room in the workshop and ask them to open it fully. You don't have to spend too much of the money, but you can make the students to think like engineers, doing something with their own hands. Otherwise, what I have been also getting the request, many of the colleges teachers are asking, give us the list of experiments. Why can't teachers develop the experiments? Why university has to prescribe, this is the experiment, this is the thing has to be done, and then I will give this many marks? Why the teachers cannot build his or her own experiment? We are not going to prescribe anything. We have given the syllabus to you. We want rather you use your own ingenuity, use your own imagination and build those experiments right from the first year of engineering. Let the mindset be different. Will you, as a part of continuous assessment, ask the group of your class or the students in your class that let everyone come with one question? Will you try this as a part of continuous assessment? Let every student comes with one question. Pull them together, now give to the entire class. The student who has given his own, he cannot answer it. Can you build your own question bank? Remember, developing a question is harder than answering that question. But what happens in that case? At least he need to know on what subject he will prepare that question, and has to be different from the entire class. In the second year onward, the student must be made to make at least one small project as a part of continuous assessment. Remember, 20% assessment is given to the faculty in their hands, and they should be able to build some of the small mini projects for those 20% marks. It is not necessary that only one student will work on one project. You can actually make them to work in a group of 5 to work on one project, and ask them to build it further and further and further until they reach the final year. What we need to bring also, the final year project should be, the seeds of the final year project should be sown in the first or second year. They must know what projects they like, what project they can identify. Project identification is extremely important part. I gave you an example of just one, that we wanted the Department of Tribal Development, they wanted to have technological intervention. They say, and we are signed with them as a technology partner to develop the technologies. Even if you go to the areas near the university, we found there is a tribal hamlets. People stay there only during the monsoon. After that, they are all migrating. They don't even have the proper drinking water. Why we cannot develop technologies which can give them water, energy, and a livelihood there and there itself? That is what is requirement today of the engineering institution. Our engineering institution should become incubation centers. Why do I have separate laboratory there saying incubation center? Then what is the rest of the infrastructure is doing? I have even asked every management and every principal, what is the utility rate of your infrastructure? You have labs, you have computers, you have CNC machines, maybe somewhere 3D printers. What is the utility rate? How many hours in a week the infrastructure is kept idle under the lock and key, or it is utilized? You will surprisingly find that time for which this infrastructure is utilized is not more than maximum 6 hours. How many working hours we have? It is what I call is a wastage of resources. Can you make these resources available to your own students, to your own faculty, to your own staff members who have the necessary technical background? So can they build something with it? There is no dearth of the money if you come up with a good idea. I'm actually a member of also committee of an industry. Industry say that I have kept 25 crores aside for innovation and startup. There is money available, 25 crores just from one company. I'm just giving an example of one company. When they floated the call, it was a nationwide call. In the entire country, in 3 weeks, how many proposals came for the startup? 56 only. And out of that, their own internal committee shortlisted 10. When it came in finally to our committee, we said none of these are worth supporting for the startup. You know how much they are offering? 50 lakhs straight if you have a good project and you want to take up to the startup level. Grant in aid, no interest, no loan, nothing, grant in aid. The only thing that you're looking for is quality, an idea which is out of box, and a willingness to take the risk by the team saying that we want to build this business. How many of us are putting into the minds of the young students, don't ask for the job, but create the job? Here is an opportunity where the funding is made available by a company, and if you get that 50 lakhs from one company, you get another 50 lakhs from the government of India as a matching grant. So you get straight away the capital of 1 crore to begin with. Why are we not looking at this opportunity? Why are we trying to say that pass my examination, go out and get the job? We are not producing engineers. That is the problem. So can we look at our own laboratories, look at our own strengths, find out there are faculty who could be expert in doing something. Just for example, our own university website, earlier we used to outsource it. 6 months ago I talked to the IT people and say that, look, I don't want to outsource this, you develop your own website. Now our website is completely developed, maintained, and it's continuously getting updated every day by our own faculty. We say we are not giving that to outside. And I'm not paying them any penny. I'm not giving any penny to my faculty. But what happened because of it? In the 6 months, he has now developed enough capacity and capability. He said, now I can develop any website. Along with that, I have another 25 students who started working on an intranet project. Now they have developed their own intranet things that today, when each of these people have started going out for the job, they are picked up like anything. This is what I call a capacity building. So if I really want to run this university, I need to build the capacity of every faculty. This is what Dr. Bhambre was saying. I've been discussing with several agencies, how do I train my faculty? And the first opportunity is going to come up for the chemical and petrochemical engineering. Not because I'm biased toward it, because I'm a chemical engineer, but because the industry came forward saying that we would like to give the training in safety.